If Trump wants a trade war, China is ready to fight. The world's top two economies are on a collision course. Last week, the US president unveiled his reciprocal tariffs. He imposed the highest rates on Chinese goods, and Beijing hit back immediately. It imposed retaliatory tariffs. Now, President Trump has issued an ultimatum. He wants China to drop its retaliatory tariffs. If they refuse, Trump is ready to strike again. He is threatening an additional 50% tax on Chinese imports. And that's not all. If China does not step back, Trump says he will cancel all trade negotiations, so no more meetings, calls, or dialogue. Trump has issued a deadline to Beijing. China has until the end of the day to respond.
With China, as you know, against my statement, they put a 34% tariff on above what their ridiculous tariffs were already. And I said, if that tariff isn't removed by tomorrow at 12 o'clock, we're putting a 50% tariff on above the tariffs that we put on.
President Trump is clearly raising the stakes. So what does an extra 50% tax actually mean? Let's break it down for you. Earlier, Chinese goods faced a 20% tariff. Last week, Trump raised this by 34%, or added 34%. That's when he announced reciprocal tariffs on all US trade partners. That took the total tariffs to 54%, and now he's threatening 50% more. If Trump follows through on his threat, Chinese imports to the US will be taxed at 104%. This is unprecedented. The US and China may be fierce rivals, but they need each other on trade. A 104% tariff would hit Americans hard because the US depends on China for a wide range of products: electronics, furniture, machinery, toys, vehicles, a whole lot of things. All these goods are caught in the crossfire now, and it's not just about imports. China is a major buyer of American goods too. It imports products worth billions of dollars every year, from staples like soybean to airplanes, medicines, and machines. So after Trump's threat, will China change its mind? Will it back down? It looks unlikely at the moment. China issued a statement in the morning today. It said it will fight till the end.
Chinese people do not provoke trouble, nor are they afraid of it. Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right ways to deal with China. China will surely take necessary measures to resolutely safeguard its legitimate rights and interests. If the U.S. disregards the interests of both countries and the international community and insists on engaging in a tariff war and trade war, China will fight to the end.
The message from the Communist Party is clear: China will not retreat. Chinese mouthpieces have published a sharp editorial. It talks about Trump's trade war and China's response to it. And here's what it says. Beijing feels a trade breakthrough is unlikely. It has, and I'm quoting, stopped clinging to illusions of a deal. That's what the editorial says, that the Chinese have stopped clinging to the illusions of a deal. Experts in Beijing agree with this assessment. One of them made a blunt assessment, in fact. You just slapped my face, and I'm not just going to call you and beg your pardon. That's the mood in China. They see Trump's trade war as an insult, so a climb down is unlikely. In fact, the trade war could escalate. So what will China do if Trump raises the tariffs to 104%? Beijing does have some options. It could let the yuan weaken. That's the Chinese currency. They could let it weaken. This would make exports cheaper and soften the blow of tariffs. That's because the Chinese currency would lose value against the US dollar. So that is one of the options. Another option is to tighten control over rare earths. Now, these are minerals used to make modern-day tech gadgets, modern-day technologies like semiconductors. China dominates global supply of rare earths. So on that front, it can hurt the US. Beijing could also target US companies in China. But hurting the US alone does not solve China's problems. Their own economy is under immense pressure. Global banks are sounding an alarm. 3 of them have issued warnings. That's UBS, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. All these banks say that China's growth could slow down further. Beijing set a target of 5% growth this year. But these banks feel that China may not meet that target. They expect China to grow at only 4%, which is a cut of 1%. 1% lower than Beijing's own assessment. Despite that, China is standing its ground. It is signaling defiance. It wants to fight it out. But it knows that this is going to be a long and costly battle.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran, maybe Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.